Library of Heaven's Path. Chapter 58, How did he do it? A moment ago when his hidden stash was exposed by Zhang Xuan, he panicked, but a portion of it was still feigned. However, the current fear that he was expressing on his face at this very moment was completely real. He felt a chill rushing down through his body, threatening to freeze him into a snowman. It wouldn't be weird if the other party could identify him. After all, he could be considered a wanted serial offender, so there's always the possibility of an attentive person seeing through his disguise. However, the fact that he practiced the voice of allurement was something that not even Lao Er and the rest are aware of. Furthermore, he had not dared reveal the fact to anyone, so how could this fellow be aware of it? This was a secret manual that he attained with much difficulty during a chance encounter. He had hidden this fact in the depths of his heart, and he could proudly declare that not a second person in this world knew of the secret. Yet, the other party was aware of it. The overwhelming shock he was feeling at the moment was about to scare him to death. There were many kinds of secret manuals. There were those on the physical body, battle techniques, cultivation techniques. However, most of these could be found easily. If one had to talk about the most valuable secret manuals in the entire kingdom, most probably, the position would have to go to those regarding secret arts that affects one's psyche. Voice of allurement was an extremely low-tier psyche secret art. However, no matter how low-tiered it was still an attack on one's psyche. Once it was executed, no matter how powerful a person was, if they were unprepared, they would still fall for it. Previously, he had been captured by a Fighter 7 Dan expert. He relied on this to coax the other party into sparing his life. The reason why he intentionally begged for his life was to numb the other party through such a method. Never would he have expected that not only was the other party unaffected by his tricks, he seemed to be omniscient, as though nothing about him could escape his notice. Before Zhang Xuan, he felt his facade falling off, and that he was standing buck naked before him, without a single concealment. How could he possibly not feel anxious? If he was afraid a moment ago, then right now, he was feeling terror-stricken. You don't have to bother how I was made aware of these, you just have to know that these aren't the only things I am aware of. Your Mingmen and such, I am also cognizant of them. I can spare you, but from today onwards, if I were to find out that you are still scamming others, bringing harm onto others, death would be the only thing that awaits you. Stopping there, Zhang Xuan kicked the other party's body. Kaka. The sound of an egg shattering. The scammer Yang Mo sensed a resounding blast from his dantian, and the strength derived from his many years of cultivation seeped away. Without strength, he dared not scam others even if he wanted to. My cultivation. Sensing the loss of his strength, Yang Mo was filled with hatred, but he did not dare to snap at him. The other party was simply too frightening. He was no human, but a demon. How could he possibly dare to retaliate when it's a demon who broke his dantian and ruined his cultivation? Scram. After receiving his benefits and dealing with the scammer, Zhang Xuan walked back to the academy with widened strides. The other party was just a scammer, he wasn't worth soiling his hands over. It was already around 1 in the morning by the time he reached his dormitory. However, Zhang Xuan wasn't fatigued at all. Too many things had happened tonight, with events coming one after another. If it wasn't for the godly cheat library of Heaven's Path, Zhang Xuan would have been at a loss from dealing with those situations. Let's see if I can organize those Fighter 6 Dan cultivation technique manuals that I got from Master Lu Chen. Back then, he was too preoccupied with cultivating the Heaven's Path golden body, so he had yet to take a good look at the Fighter 6 Dan cultivation techniques. Now that he had free time, it was a good opportunity for him to examine them. Soon, the correct cultivation method of the dozen or so secret manuals were extracted. However, taking a look at it, Zhang Xuan felt his head bloating up. They aren't connected with one another in the least. If I were to cultivate this, my cultivation would definitely go berserk and I will die. Zhang Xuan shook his head helplessly. He might have a dozen secret manuals in his possession, but there were still too many flaws in it. Even if he were to extract the correct methods from them, he was still unable to form a complete cultivation technique set. In fact, the cultivation technique set formed would be filled with even more gaps, making it impossible to cultivate it. Forget it. I better find a way to look for more manuals first. Knowing that the cultivation technique could not be used, Zhang Xuan didn't panic. Instead, he recultivated the cultivation techniques of the first 3 dans compiled by the library. Only after ensuring that his cultivation had completely integrated as one did he go to sleep. Zhang Xuan didn't know that in the period that he went to the market to purchase items, in the academy, Elder Shang Chen's backyard was on the verge of exploding. "Grandfather, you have to redress my grievances." With tears and snot flowing down his face, Shang Bin's cry tremored even the heavens. As the grandson of an elder, he was born with a golden spoon in his mouth. Furthermore, being talented, he had always been respected by others. Yet, he had suffered all the setbacks he had never suffered in his whole life today. It was already a great blessing that he had yet to go insane. When bringing trouble upon someone, a lunatic dashed out and beat him up to a pig head. When going out for dinner, he saw his goddess dining happily with that lad. He could still take it if his framing failed and if he embarrassed himself, but... "Grandfather, didn't you say that this sky-shattering lion is very obedient? I ordered it to teach that useless Zhang Xuan a lesson, but not only did it not obey my orders, it even beat me up instead." The more he thought about it, the more furious he got. At this moment, Shang Bin was full of tears for himself. This sky-shattering lion before him had been squandering off his family, yet, at a crucial period, not only did it not obey orders, it even helped an outsider to assault him. He felt like tearing his hair out whenever he thought about it. It is usually rather obedient, Shang Chen felt a little awkward. He looked at the sky-shattering lion in front of him with a puzzled expression. He was just a normal beast tamer, and his expertise in the field wasn't particularly high. Even if he were to tame savage beasts, he could only interact with them on equal footing and not that of a master and servant. This was precisely why the sky-shattering lion need not bother about his emotions and second-guess his thoughts whenever it wanted to do something. However, no matter what, they were contractually related to one another. After asking it to protect his grandson, why did it listen to the words of the outsider and assault Shang Bin instead? Roar. Upon noticing Shang Bin, the sky-shattering lion held its head up high with a proud expression on its face, seemingly proud of its deed. Seeing the expression on the sky-shattering lion, Shang Bin received another 10,000 damage internally. When it was with Zhang Xuan, it licked the other party's hand affectionately and treated him respectfully, as though a pug. Yet now, it was acting as haughty as a king. "The heck, is my grandfather your owner or he is? Cough cough, I'll persuade the sky-shattering lion later when I get back." Seeing his beast pet behaving like this, clearly rejecting cooperation with him, Elder Shang Chen's face turned red as he waved away the matter. "Grandfather, this time, you have to teach this Zhang Xuan a lesson in my stead. It would be best if his teaching license is revoked and he is chased out of the academy." Knowing that his grandfather and the sky-shattering lion were of equal standing in their contract and was unable to teach it a lesson, Shang Bin didn't dawdle on the matter and gritting his teeth, diverted the topic towards Zhang Xuan. A trash who scored a 0 in the teacher qualification examination had caused him so much embarrassment and left innumerable wounds all over his body, causing him to almost die even. This kind of grudge could not be washed away even by the rapid flow of the river. "Rest assured, I will settle this matter." But this Zhang Xuan, who knows what kind of luck did he stumble over, he actually managed to recruit 5 students. Without a reasonable excuse, even for me, it will be difficult to expel a registered teacher. Elder Shang Chen said. Registered with the continent's teacher guild, Zhang Xuan could be considered formally as a teacher. Even as an elder of the academy, the head of the education bureau, as long as the other party didn't sin deeply, he had no rights to expel him. While shaking his head, doubt flashed across his eyes. As a fellow who scored 0 in the teacher qualification examination, everyone thought that it would be impossible for any student to acknowledge him. Yet, contrary to their expectations, not only did students acknowledge him, there were even 5 of them. Furthermore, a few of them were within the top 100. No one would have thought it possible if they didn't witness it for themselves. In fact, despite seeing the results compiled by the Education Bureau, he still found it unbelievable. This fellow, how did he do it? It is totally irrational, isn't it?